Hello, hello. Hola todo el mundo. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 3 of Mucha Malentía. I am so excited today because I have a longtime friend visiting the little Malentina studio here virtually. And it's a very special episode because we've been friends for a very long time. I started singing close to the time I moved to Lafayette for the first time. And when I first met this very special guest, he was also kind of finding his stride, although I'm sure we're going to get into his real origin in music. But I always felt like we were both sort of on the same boat, figuring out who we were as artists and how we belonged to our community and how we could make a name for ourselves. And flash forward to close to 10 years, he was a guest on The Voice, and he was liked by all of the celebrity judges. And not only that, he brought a little piece of culture to the national stage by singing in Cajun French. First time ever. So I mean, this is like a lot of records being broken right now. But the real pride and joy is that I've seen him rise and I've seen him publish his own music and go on the road on his own independently. And independently, he has made it here. So, everybody, fingers together. You know, I like to say that for the one and only Dustin Gaspard.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for letting me be here.
I am so excited. Thank you so much for wanting to join me. I'm just starting out, so I feel like I'm starting out with a huge bang.
Yeah.
So this
And he
is
was on here. That's amazing.
I know. It's gonna be so great. I think everybody I've talked to has been incredible, which shows like what an amazing roster of talent we have here in Louisiana. Because everybody that I've talked to is actually local,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
my list extends beyond Louisiana. But just the first 10 are like strong Louisiana people.
Yeah.
But how are you? What's been up?
I actually just flew back from Oregon and Northern California. I had done this event called Folk Alliance in New Orleans. Have you heard of this?
Oh
Folk Alliance?
yes, I went there a couple years ago, and I remember seeing you there. I
Oh,
was
really?
working. I was working with local government with Create.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That year, was that the year that I was in New Orleans as well?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was the first one that I'd gone to, and it moves around. This year, it was back in New Orleans, and I was there at the end of January, and then got a call to go out to Portland, and from that, just made myself flexible and ended up opening up on tour for a buddy of mine for like a week. So
Wow.
I
Okay,
just got back yesterday.
who did you open for?
His name's Marty O'Reilly. He is a singer-songwriter out of Sonoma, California, northern like wine country. He played in this band called Marty O'Reilly and the Old Soul Orchestra, and they were a pretty prominent group, 2010s onward. He recently started playing solo, and yeah, the opportunity happened. He had someone fall sick and asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. I met him on the show The Voice, actually, but he and I have known about each other via mutual friends for years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he also participated?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
That is kind of a sick lineup then.
Oh, it's really cool to know. That's the best things that have ever come out of it, is always meeting people and networking. Some of the best shows or some of the jankiest shows, I've always met like the most awesome people to make that happen. So
Yeah.
I'm glad.
That's kind of been like a common denominator in a lot of my conversations. Because, like, we know the journey can get a little rough, but
Mhm.
usually the people you meet along the way make the journey better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's what it's about. That's what all of life is about, is community. So it's the people that want to find out the truth, want to find the relevant aspects to our reality. That's, we always run into each other. That's why you and I know each other, kind
Yeah.
of from similar events.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, so I wanna start from the beginning here because I wanna get to the moment we're now,
Okay.
and I wanna get to this community involvement because you've done a lot of it. But, I've only known you since I've been living in Lafayette, and I wanna know, when did music begin for you?
Um, well, I don't, the origins are always so different. Do I consider the beginning the first time I picked up a guitar? Do I consider the beginning the first song I wrote? Or, I would like to think there's so many. I sang in a rock band in high school because some of my best friends thought, they were like, you joke about singing, but you can actually sing. So you should try, front this band. And that was fun. It sparked some energy. My father, nobody in my family's musicians, but my father had picked up a guitar from a great uncle of his, and I took it one day and kind of strummed on the three strings that it had, and it just opened up something for me. I would say I would probably say, though, that what really started my musical journey is I went to Artmosphere one night when I was 17.
Okay.
Artmosphere is a local venue around here.
Which
Like,
closed, and is it back open?
and I think it's back open. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
it's had tribulations
An
and
iconic place for anyone wondering, but it did close down, and a lot of people were very upset. I think me included. I mean, my days there, I felt like I had outlived it, but
right.
I
Well,
appreciate it.
that's where I met Maggie as well, which is
Oh, cool.
so I went to a show for a guy. He's a singer-songwriter named Matt Ami, who you might know actually, and he performed solo to four people. It was me, my friend, and two bartenders, and he told stories and played songs that absolutely just cracked me in half. And I thought right there in that moment, if I can do what he did for me that night for anyone else in the world, then I will have had served my purpose on the planet. So that's probably when it began,
Love it.
2010. Yeah.
That's super cool. So you went to see a show, and that's when you considered, maybe this is something I want to
Yeah.
do.
Oh, it was going to be the thing that I gave everything up for. It's like
Wow,
I was going to make whatever happen to just be half as good as he was, and it was awesome.
that's super cool. Did you grow up learning or speaking Cajun French?
No, no, but it was my grandparents' first language. They spoke it all the time, especially around me. I was raised mostly by my grandparents, and I spent a lot of time with them. There was also there was a lot of curiosity about it. Like, what is this language that my grandparents speak but no one really knows about? Why are there's this mystery and secrecy around it as well? And it was almost like a stigmatism to it, of course, because it was kind of frowned upon in their day. So I was familiar with it, but it wasn't until much later that I actually dived into it.
And what made you incorporate it in your music?
So I have some friends from New Brunswick, Moncton, New Brunswick. They're a three-piece girl trio. They're a folk psychedelic Acadian band. They call themselves the Hey Babies.
Oh,
You would love these girls.
I think I met them once at a party at the Alamo
Uh-huh.
in
Probably.
Lafayette, and I do remember loving them, thinking they had such a cool vibe.
Yeah, and they're just stylish and
Yeah.
they write amazing songs and they sing in a very similar French to what Cajuns do because they are of Acadian descent. I watched them perform and heard their music and said, "Well, this is like everything that I want to do if I want to learn the language." But what really sparked it was I introduced them to my grandfather before he like a few months before he passed away, and they walked into his house and they started speaking French with him, and he almost died on the spot because Rarely did he speak French in his older age. A lot of his friends had passed away. And then there's three beautiful girls walk in and start speaking with him. And I saw his eyes just light up. And it was a version of him that even though he was my idol and I knew everything about him, there was still this piece of him that I did not know at all. And
Wow.
that's when I said I had to learn the language, but also to continue my legacy and do it my way to sing about it and put it in songs.
So how did you dive into it? Like, now you have to learn a new language.
Yeah. Well, is your first language is Spanish, correct?
Yes. Now, peculiar my first language is Spanish. And it's funny because I actually remember a time where I didn't know English. It's crazy. Sometimes I think of that. Like, I remember watching TV and not knowing anything they were saying, but I was about 4 years old.
You're really young.
And quickly, like around 5, I started like memorizing Disney songs and singing them out loud and not still knowing what they were saying, but I was practicing in it
Mhm.
enough. And then
Yeah.
I just learned it. So it's kind of hard for me to tell people that because I'm like, yeah, I learned a language after, but I feel like I did develop them both at once.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Especially
why
in
I'm
such
curious to
formative
know how
years.
you do.
Well, for me, I'm there, like I said, it was always around, and I always had curiosity for it. But when I heard the girls start singing in a different language, it made it so much more digestible than all of the ways that I'd known it to be in Cajun, which is a very traditional style, super rudimentary guitar, and sometimes monotonous. And it never intrigued my inspiration. It was like, oh, okay, that's something that my grandparents love. And there was the nuance and the reason that it was special was lost upon me because I wasn't hearing the words as they were. So I started listening more to Acadian music, French music in general, finding more artists that were doing something more contemporary with the music itself. And then I just started asking a lot of questions, especially with the girls. They were my peers, and they were doing the thing that I just dreamed of, and they were direct to the source, so open to me. So I really just asked them, "Comment tu dis? How do you say this?" And I wrote it all down and started writing French songs, just because writing a song it's always about melody, and any words can find its way on the melody if you're conscious enough of rhythm and how to put those puzzles, the words in those pieces. So really, I think I just started writing songs, leaving the melodic space empty, and finding a way to grammatically and correctly place words in the language itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you went on the national platform,
Mhm.
what made you decide that you would bring Cajun French to it?
It was my destiny. It's it was an opportunity to come full circle doing the things my grandparents they believed in me more than anyone else. They loved me unconditionally, and there was a lot of people back home, family members included, that were like, "This isn't gonna work, dude. Nothing you ever do is gonna work." Like, and it's not because they didn't believe in me. They just know the realities of the world, especially South Louisiana, where working in the oil field and starting your family early, it's not like a recommendation. It is the only way. It's the only way anyone's ever known. And where I'm from, no one's ever made it out alive, not without doing, following suit in that. So when I had the opportunity, I remember it was the first time in my life that I kept a secret and said, and kept it like really close to the vest. I think I told my best friend, which is probably a bad idea, but that, and seeing it in retrospect now, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. And I knew that it was going to be such a tremendous thing for me to say, Mama and Papa, this is for you. This is for my people. These people that feel like no one ever makes it out. Here's an opportunity for me to speak to generations and never forget who I'm from and help people remember who they are and where they're from.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is super powerful. So did you decide to go on The Voice randomly, or did somebody invite you?
I got drunk and signed up for it.
Yeah. I feel like that. See, look,
Yeah.
sometimes a little influence can go a long way.
Yeah, I had a cousin he brought me out to a live audition in Dallas in like 2018. And you just wait in the line, and I'm not a vocalist, and that's what these shows are looking for, that. And it was just so uncomfortable and bizarre and kind of felt going against my artistry. But the reason I signed up, I mean, I was drunk and I said, I don't know. I looked and saw when the dates were recording, and I thought, oh, well, I don't have anything planned that month. It would be cool to do a vacation in California if something like that would happen. And they signed me up for a Zoom call, kind of like we're doing here. And I remember I was downtown Lafayette, a couple blocks from where I'm at now. And they got the call. I got the call and they said, hey, your Zoom meeting's up. I said, oh crap. Okay. I I put the phone on a parking meter outside. I introduced myself. I had like 90 seconds. I said, hello, je suis un Cajun. Je m'appelle Dustin Dale Gaspard. I'm Cajun. I'm Dustin Dale Gaspard. And here's some songs. And I sang a little bit of a soul tune that I wrote. And then I said, I don't know. I hope you like it. I'll see you later. And got a call back the next day saying there's going to be a couple more follow-ups to that interview.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so cool, actually.
It's so random.
So random, so cool. So, okay. Obviously, you kept it secret, you know. I remember when I saw a video of it online, I don't know why for a split second, it didn't register that it was you. Because I've known you for so long. And I'm seeing there, and it's like on the official Voice account.
Yeah.
And they're showing all these things, like all these really well-known people, and all three of them talking about you. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what? It was honestly like, it was very existential because I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is real. This is the reality I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I also got very emotional because I saw you for so long, and we had talked time and time again about how hard it is and how easy it is to want to give up.
Yeah.
And I you know what? I'm guilty of wanting to give up a lot. And I have actually. I absolutely have said, putting my gloves up, I'm done. But it's something that it's in my blood. I can't let it go. I always come back to it. Now I just decided I can't keep giving up, And so seeing you there, I was like, dude, there is no one more worthy than Dustin up there. Not only because of everything that you've done and how much you've grown, but you went out there and you went so authentically in your gear, in the same hat, same pants I've seen you, singing Cajun music.
Mm-hmm.
When that is so not popular. It's a regional thing.
Yeah, super regional. Yeah.
Like that is really commendable. Like I was so proud.
Thanks. I will say I'd feel the same exact way if I saw you up there. I'd probably run through a wall. I would be so pumped. And for some reason or another, I got super lucky. You could say that I put in a bunch of work, but it's the whole timing and preparation, and it all kind of lined up. I haven't been playing back in Louisiana in a few years, here and there, but really I just stay on the road, and it somehow or another worked out. Had it happened at any other time, I don't know that it would have made an impact, or I don't even think I would have been prepared for it. So
I think sometimes, that's the journey. The journey is that we have to go away, unfortunately, to be found, to be appreciated, I think. Which reminds me, one of my questions was, what was the feedback Like as soon as it was out, as soon as it was out there, what was the feedback?
It was absurd. People, I mean, objectively, me watching it back as an artist, which I didn't watch it back for months. I had not even watched it. And it was okay, you know. Vocally, I was nervous as hell, freaking out. So I could have done a lot better. The song was also very fresh, so now it's a lot more dialed in. But people thought of it like it was the best thing that has happened in in decades, and kind of really Louisiana hasn't had a champion in a long time since, especially in my region, like when the Saints won the Super Bowl. That was the only other thing in 2010 that is just as big as what had happened to me being on television. So the response was absurd. I couldn't go to the grocery store for before 7 o'clock without, if I was going to buy bread, I was there for 2 hours and people were lining up in a Walmart taking pictures with me, asking me to sign stuff. And I loved it. It was beautiful and awesome. And people, it was a testament to people that had not been seen for so long feeling special about, hey, thanks for representing me.
Yeah.
And that was great because that's all I've ever wanted. People think that since I'm traveling all the time and I don't play traditional music or I don't play country music, they're like, well, you're not like really one of us. And I'm thinking, dude, you don't even know. You don't know who I am or where I'm from. And this was the opportunity that made them open up their eyes. A lot of people, the way that I've been seeing it too is like, it's hard for people to comprehend that they are stars when there's so much light and you're in it, and so everybody looks up and they say they want to be that the whole time. And this is a time that people saw me but they remembered me from their left and their right, and now it's my opportunity to kind of say anyone can do that. And that's not it's the cliche like, oh, if I can do it you can do it too. No, seriously, anyone can do that.
I'm starting to believe that because I feel like so many people say that,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems like they really believe that. They're like, no, dude, it actually is a matter of you realizing you can. But I don't think we ever do. I mean, some people are very lucky and they're like, yes, of course I can. I think the majority of us are very much like, I don't know, man. We're just gonna do it. But we do it.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
trembling legs, we will still do it. Like
Yeah.
that's definitely, and I think that's what Mucha Malentía is about. That's the idea, is that it takes a lot of courage, and sometimes the best reward is actually the failure you get.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And it's
Yeah.
wild, but yeah.
People have to know too that um, the desire for that situation is a bit foolish. But the desire to say that every day you've hit your ceiling for what you want to do, and you have gratitude for the fact that you just took those steps just that one day, that if you can find that happiness, then you will always feel that happy meter every morning to night, every single day. You can't control majority of the other stuff that happens, and that I was there. I was like, look, I get to travel. Am I in debt? Sure, but am I getting to see the world? Am I playing music every day? Am I inspiring people doing the same thing that I saw that guy do that night? Yes, it was happening, and it was happening all around the country. And I never stopped. And all of a sudden it's like, as I'm doing it, I'm getting picked and pulled to go on this other journey and perform for the planet. And that was insane.
What? So you were, it was before The Voice, and now we're post The Voice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you've mentioned a few, new things you're experiencing. What has been the most eye-opening thing about this new reality, this new experience?
Um, That's a great question because I feel the human in me wants to say the negative thing, which is
I think you should say both.
okay. So the human in me is just like thinking, oh, there are so many people that have watched me perform in a corner, in a bar over here, and that have given two shits about anything that I ever did or ever said. And now they come up to me and they treat me like Elvis Presley. And they say, like, oh, I never knew. And I'm thinking, I was right next to you. And it flipped like that. Everyone wanted to be my friend. Everyone, it was the whole like, oh, I knew him since. Oh, I've been on that, and it's hard. It's really difficult for me to not say, no, 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 no. You
Oh,
don't, you do not get to be here. It's really difficult for me to not do that. And I've had to have plenty of conversation with people. There are some people that I have to put on my business voice and set professional boundaries and say, no, these are this is the way that I actually conduct my business these days. I appreciate your support, and it feels like I just want to say, get out of here. What are you doing? Like,
yeah.
but that's the human in me. What I can see that has changed is a willingness to listen, for anyone, because the platform, I think, was so loud and had such a tremendous reach that it really made people stop and think, okay, well, what's actually going on here? What that means is I have to be very conscious and cognizant of how I say things, the emotion in which I portray things, and the depth of which I go to portray, hey, these are the things that mean a lot to me. And I have to be willing to communicate them all. I can't activate on emotion at all. If there's something that I believe in, I have to have a reason to retort whatever. Oh, well, oh, look at you. Sometimes it's about politics, and I'm not a political person at all. I don't dabble in it. But there are certain things that I see that I'm like, I don't know about that. And I can't just say that now. I have to define and research and give these people reason because they are listening to what I have to say now.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think that that's definitely something that not many artists are prepared to do because it's a very vulnerable thing. Now you're being expected to preach or
yeah,
voice an opinion, which I think it's not a mandatory thing unless it's something that you feel very strongly that you should comment on. Like I with a few people that I've talked to, it's funny because they will feel very I think one of the givens of being an artist is that you're very passionate about certain things. So they do feel like there are certain things that they will risk being liked and risk being followed because of what they believe in. Like they will risk it by stating who they are. I think it's a really I look at some artists that I really am inspired by, and not all of them are all very vocal. And I know for a fact that they're not complacent or quiet and not wanting to engage. They usually just leave it in their lyrics. Like they will just let the music and the art speak for them. And it's kind of a boundary that they set where they say, "Look, I am not here to reform like society."
yeah,
Unfortunately, we don't have leaders that do that. So do not place that on the artist. The artist will reflect the times and we will stand on one side or the other. But I don't know. It's a weird thing for an artist to navigate.
yeah,
And something about you is you introduce yourself by singing in Cajun French.
mhm,
And that already has a very laced history of politics,
yeah,
actually,
yeah,
a lot of discrimination There was a time where that was forbidden.
Yeah.
Do you feel like now you have a responsibility to preserve Cajun French?
Oh yeah, it's my legacy to do so. It's also my mission to make it in a way that resonates with my generation and generations after me, because I've felt such dissonance from people in the culture, in the community, that say, oh, you don't speak the language, well, you're not really a part of this club. And it's like,
Mhm.
what a really bizarre situation to be a part of. Some people to just try to take it from me, even though it is all of me. And that has been put on the forefront for decades now, and it's also become such a beautifully touristic thing that puts it on a pedestal that says, oh yeah, this is where it was, this is my grandparents' music. And but that's not me, because they don't feel a part, no one feels a part of it. So it's my responsibility to bridge that gap again, claim what is mine, and then also say, if you're of this descent, it is for all of you.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because we are post Super Bowl right now. Like this is gonna come out in a few weeks, but we're post Super Bowl, and that's been the most alive conversation we're having on a national level. Like, is it American enough? Does it belong here? Do we feel like it's divisive? But that's what it comes down to. It's recognizing that we are this melting pot, and if you have any ancestry in it, you can honor it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, when people say, this is America, speak American, I'm thinking, okay, so you want me to speak French? You want every Latino person to speak Spanish? All the Germans should probably be able to speak German, and they should emphasize their lineage and their ancestry. We have all come together and are a part of this because that's what America wanted to be. And I'm the Super Bowl thing blows me away, because if I had gotten up there and sang in French, no one would say a damn thing. Everyone back home that is complaining about what they saw would be they would lose their mind in a good way. They say, "Oh my God, look at him! Look at what he's representing! Look at who he is!" And never letting his culture go and never let his culture die. That, on top of all the similarities that I saw in the performance, the running through the cane field, the emphasis on dancing and the coming together of the community. All of these things are verbatim the different language. They're Cajun culture to a T,
Yep.
and yet people are always finding something to say about it. And I'm thinking, imagine Wayne Toops or the Lost Bayou Ramblers getting up there. Would the rest of the country, because they look white? Is that the thing? Is it because some people are saying just because they didn't have subtitles? Oh, well, we didn't know what they were saying. I I don't put subtitles on my music. I don't think that's what it was. I don't think that's what it was. And people just need to be very, very honest with themselves about what's happening. And I think a lot of people are scared. And I think some people are subconsciously envious, that they're like, why is this guy so proud of who he is and where he's from? Where's that for you?
Wow.
Define that for yourself. People don't know how to look for it too. And we're lost. A lot of people are lost.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you really revealed something that I hadn't considered, but I think I subconsciously maybe knew it, but it's that fear. And
Yeah.
it's that, someone being so proud. And right now, it's hard to take a stance. People are scared. They don't even know who they are anymore.
Mhm.
They let the world dictate who they are. And when you see someone so sure of themselves, like Bad Bunny has always been, always from the moment he started, he never ever backed down. I mean, he proved it with this performance. He said, "This you invited me. I'm bringing a piece of my country to you."
Mhm.
which, by the way, is an American country.
Right.
It's get to know your neighbor, okay? You know, he it's commendable. It's commendable, and I think of how similar that is to your situation because when we set out to do music, we all want to be successful,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's the downfall is that we will look at what is going on and we try to jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we kind of abandon a piece of our unique selves.
Yeah.
And here you are doing not pop music, but singing in Cajun French,
Mm.
which is a minority language in the United States.
Mhm.
Like, we cannot expect to be a monolith. Like, we need to have people like you, people like, Bad Bunny, people like the community, the Latin community, stand with their language because that is actually the representation of who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. It totally is. I mean, it's one of the pillars, but it's the pillar that I think directly is a through line to exactly like your ancestry, your heritage. If you're tapping into that, then you're speaking from the soul of so many.
Yeah.
And and I it's an absurd situation to think about. I'm curious too. It's like, well, next year or in a year in the years following, if they somehow do it in New Orleans and they just want to diversify and have a big Cajun artist, are there going to be people all across the country that are complaining
Well,
about?
here's what's really funny. Rihanna was a couple years ago. She's not
Mhm.
American. I mean, I guess she is now, but she's from
Right.
Barbados.
Yeah.
But did anybody say anything about that? No. We also had Shakira and J-Lo a couple years ago with Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Did anybody say anything about that? They did not need to understand anything they said because these are two hot women
Right.
and they're like, yeah, that's fine. We're not gonna listen anyway. It's a lot of like I'm really happy that this happened because the proof is in the pudding and it couldn't have been more clear,
Hmm.
you know. But I want to talk about your music now
Okay.
because yes, you sung in Cajun French, but I never told you about your last album,
Hope in heaven got a kitchen.
Hope in Heaven Got a Kitchen. I want to know the process of writing that album because this was in 2022.
Hmm. Yeah.
And this is like around the time, I mean, this is now 3 years ago, which blows my mind. This is around the time I remember being like, "Oh, Dustin has found his way. He's got a whole album. He's on the road, and it sounds so freaking good." I mean, the title song, Hoping Heaven Got a Kitchen, is so good. I also love the idea behind it. I want you to develop on that further. But yeah, how did this album come about?
Well, it was at the sacrifice of my grandparents. I had felt so, I like I said, they supported me so much. They loved me unconditionally. They believed in me, like really believed in me. Everyone else was always kind of like pat on the back. Oh, cute. You're doing the whole music thing and you look like you're really having fun. But my grandparents thought I could be something, especially my grandmother. And they both passed within 3 months of each other. My grandfather died in 2019. Um, it was right before the pandemic, or it was toward the start of it. What? I can't remember now. But anyway, he passed away, and then 3 months later, my grandmother, who was of sound mind and body, caught COVID, and then died in 3 days, 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
Very, very fast. And I was very, very close to them. I had moved back home to be within the vicinity, take care of them, get whatever they might need. And um, after they passed away, I remember not feeling so distraught. These were my people, the only people that ever ever really cared about me. And I knew that it was time for me to make a record. Didn't know how I was going to do it. Didn't know have any money for it, but knew that I wanted to make it about them and the legacy of which they shared with me, my heritage. Dedicate every single song to them and find a lane and a rhythm, no matter if it sounded Americana or if it was like very funky. I was just going to assemble these songs that I thought that they would appreciate. And every song on that album is about one of my grandparents, and there's a cover or two on there that is songs that they loved. Yeah,
Really? I didn't know that.
yeah.
Which one? As a cover?
There's a song called "Feed the Flame" that's a cover. That's an old soul tune that was the way that I heard it originally done by an artist from the 60s named Percy Sledge, who's a high tenor singer, a black fella, amazing. My grandfather had a huge record collection. He'd spin that album or albums with him on it. And then my grandmother loved this Rod Bernard song, who Rod Bernard is a famous swamp pop singer who was also Cajun and also sang in French on American Bandstand in the 50s. And it
Mm.
was the first time that the Cajun language had ever been introduced to the country, on national television.
Wow.
So it has, I mean, I was the kind of followed in the footsteps of that, but my grandmother loved that song. It was the last song I sang to her before she died. And so I put that on the record as well.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I loved Tell Me With Take Me With You.
Yeah.
I also love Temple and the Hamel.
Okay. That's my grandfather. Yeah.
Really? I was wondering.
Yeah, so you got to meet him. He told stories. He was a big storyteller. His grandfather was a storyteller. It's a really big thing. Not like I said, no one in my family is musically inclined. Everyone's very rhythmic, though. You would really appreciate it, the rhythm they have. But my grandfather's talent was telling stories, and that's how they all entertained themselves. They lived off grid in the middle of the marsh down in Vermilion Bay, and his grandfather would get on the porch in their little community and he'd tell stories. And I think my grandfather inherited that from him. And I wanted to put one of his stories on the album. And what you hear in Temple in the Hamel is him talking about an altercation that took place between his brother and his father.
I love the sound bites.
Oh, yeah.
That is so good. And I was actually wondering if they were like legit, if you actually took them.
Yeah, yeah, that's all from the one story. He told many stories that day. That was one of the last days before he passed away. What was so weird was he had dementia, so he had good days and bad days. But when he would drink, he would get more normal and more sane again. I don't know what the science behind that is, but he would tell us stories and that old story is a very, very funny one. You could hear me and my sister, and my mom laughing. We every Sunday on my mother's side, we all get together and sit in a circle and kind of just shoot around. And then my grandfather would tell us stories about the old days.
That's
That's one of them.
that's really special
His
actually.
accent is great. Every time someone's like, they say, Dustin, why don't you use your accent? I say, well, it has to be kind of circumstantial. I much prefer you understand me, and if you want to hear a real Cajun accent, then I show them that song so they can hear my grandfather.
That's cool. I understand. I feel like when I am speaking with other Puerto Ricans, my Puerto Rican accent will come out strong. But if I'm talking to anybody from another country that speaks Spanish, I'll tone it down just a little because I'm like, I just want you to understand. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to erase or be like you. It's just that you're not gonna get it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Um. Wait. I'm losing my train of. Oh. So how do you see yourself making music now? Like you're in this line of folk Americana and you've introduced Cajun French.
Mhm.
Do you have any intention of making like traditional Cajun music?
Not traditional. I I love I'm in a really weird position right now where for the past couple years I've worked on a strictly French record that has is all like it's actually more bluegrass inspired. I play a lot of banjo on it. I sing, 75, 80% of the songs are just French.
Wow.
Some of them are bilingual, but it's still more French involved. And I've been working on that. Every now and then I'll write a new song for it. I'd originally gotten some grants to fund the album, and it's taken me about as far as I can make it. And I wanted to really set a precedent and tell the story the right way. It tells the story of my Acadian ancestry and follows the matriarch of my lineage, a lady named Angelique Penet-Léger, is my ancestral grandmother. And a lot of the Cajun story and Acadian story has been told from the masculine perspective, which is like, oh, we fought so hard and we got kicked out, but they never put us down. And they talk about famous people like Beausoleil Broussard, who was a kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? A rebel, an Acadian rebel that kind of fought for the cause against the Brits. I wanted to tell it from the feminine perspective, which
Yeah.
was which is how the stories are always passed down. They're always told by the mothers, usually. And the way that I'm here is because of a woman. It's not because of a man. And I wanted to offer light in a way that would still be creative and progressive. So playing traditional chanky chank Cajun music, I love it. Respectfully love it. I wanted to do something that people would say like, "Whoa, this is Cajun music too." So it's very contemporary, very modern, but still ethereal and still songs. All that said is, yeah, I'm in a very particular place where I've introduced this language. It is my responsibility and legacy. Doing so, I have to make sure that what I release is putting confidence and respect and progression on this my mission. So I'm being very critical about releasing music right now. Meanwhile, the songs that you hear that people have heard me perform on the show on The Voice are more akin to blues music. And so there's an expectation that anything that I release that isn't blues music, people are gonna have something to say about it. I'm navigating it day by day, and it's a very, very scary place.
But no, look, I mean, I'm no expert, and you're on this new level where, you consider new things. But here's the thing that I have landed on, and I want to share it just because maybe it would inspire you. But we are all a complex combination of things. It's like I'm Puerto Rican, so people expect me to only sing Latin music. But you knew me, like I was in a band a couple years ago, Tonomono,
Yeah,
where I sung in Spanish, but it was hip hop with rock, with experimental. It was
exactly.
it was really wild, and I love that that's a part of my journey. That if anybody finds anything I've ever sung, they're going to find a crazy collection of music. But I would hope to be known in all my facets, in all my angles, because I think that an audience is as diverse as we are, you
Oh, yeah.
know? Like I've been to music festivals where I in the same day go see a rock person, go see a hip hop artist, go see a folk artist, go see a singer-songwriter. And I love them all and they couldn't be further apart from their genre.
Yeah.
And I think that the more we can be brave, have Malentía to say, "Yep, that too, and this too, and this too." I think the more we'll find those people exactly like us, they're like, "Oh my god, I thought I was the only one." But yeah, you know.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
you're
think you should honor that.
You're completely correct too. And Tono Mono is like such a great example of, completely different genre, but doing all the things that I'm trying to incorporate in what I'm doing.
Yeah,
So much progress, still a mission, still authentically art, still authentically you. I've always loved that band, and I think subconsciously I've probably stolen some sort, or I've found the same lane, the same road that y'all were taking, and it
cool.
was going in a similar direction. I
Even no,
I
continue.
was I was just going to say that it's the difficult part is always, financially.
Yeah.
If I just had the money to make all the music that I have, then I would just make it all and say you can take and choose whatever you want, pull it to pieces. I don't give a damn. But now that funds are interesting, you have to choose a lane and say, man, hope this actually turns over to where I can make the rest of the music.
It's funny, that was my next question. You let it right there. I wanted to ask if you had felt the pressure to translate yourself for a wider audience now that
Yeah.
you have this wider visibility.
Yeah, there is like I said, the expectation that people saw the bluesier vibe, and then knowing that I've been working on this bluegrass folk record. If I release that, I think people would be like, "What the hell? I don't want to listen to this. I want to hear what he did here." So they're not so in the general, but I do think that there's this expectation that I need to not stay in a lane, but maybe the mission is pivoting, and this project of my ancestral story is becoming a passion project as
Mm,
compared to taking my career path,
yeah.
which seems saying it. I don't know if I've said it out loud, but it seems to make it keep going, like you have to find a way to evolve and keep the ball rolling. And I think it's in the career path that I can still keep this other and ancestral record
Yeah.
afloat.
Yeah. But I must let you know that you got on The Voice and you wowed people, not so much just because of the song you offered. You were out there, heart wide open, no facade. You were like, okay, I'm here. And subconsciously, and I always like to call it the uncanny valley, like our souls recognize real. So
Mhm.
like the judges loved how you sang. They turned around, like they heard you before they saw you. But what they heard and what we saw was you.
Yeah,
You're the common denominator in all of the genres you want to sing. So I think your best bet is to continue to be brave, and it takes a lot of courage to honor Dustin. Dustin wants to do a bluegrass song, cool. Dustin wants to do a folk song, cool. Dustin wants to do a Cajun song, cool. That is when we fast forward 2 years later and you look at your volume of work, it all will have Dustin at the center of it. And that's what we want.
yeah.
I want to hear your version of bluegrass. I want to hear your version of folk. I
Mhm.
want to hear your version of R&B. Like what does, like I don't care. You bring enough soul, which your album has a lot of soul in it.
Yeah.
It's it's Americana, but there like it's undeniable the influences you had in soulful music. I want to hear all. I want to hear all you have to offer because I'm following you.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the rest of the people that loved what you offered are following you.
Yeah.
So don't shut any doors within you. Give us anything you want to give us. We're going to
Yeah.
be there like, "Okay, cool."
Thanks. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I mean it. I really do. It's what I've learned. I mean, look, I've failed so many times. So many times. I've failed way more times than I've succeeded. And if I reflect, many times I failed, Look, sometimes I gave it my best shot and I maybe didn't deserve to fail, but I still did. But what I learned is that sometimes, more often than not, I was not letting myself be me. I was
Mhm,
scared
mhm.
because of that. Because I'm like, well, people have an expectation of me. Well, that's the people's problem.
Yeah.
Look at Bad Bunny. I mean, to bring it back to this. In a 12-minute show, there was reggaeton, there was trap, there was salsa, there was Lady Gaga. Like it couldn't have been more. There was plena. It was wild. But he always said, "This is what I'm doing.
Mhm.
You want it? You wanted me? I'm bringing myself to the table."
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
So
And that's
don't
what I'm
dilute
gonna say.
yourself.
Yeah. I'm just gonna play music and hopefully find the money to produce the music.
That is so real.
Yeah, it's so
That is
crazy.
so real. So okay, how often are you performing now?
Um, I was, man, before the show, I was hustling so much. I was doing 5 nights a week and sometimes 2 or 3 times a day throughout those weeks. Um, and now I can get by with just like a couple of shows. They're like bigger events. I'm gonna do another tour in May in Canada. Um, I think there was a lot that I was doing that was just stripping away my creativity, and it got to a place where I was performing so much that I forgot why I was playing. I was just like, it just seemed so rehearsed and kind of hollow, and I don't want to get back to that spot. I think
Mm,
I was just playing for no reason anymore. It was just like, oh, yeah, you know me from this, or you listen to these songs, so I play those. Well, the reason that I play music is because of the moment that I shared with the gentleman on stage, but also because I love sitting in my room with a guitar. And sometimes the best times that I've ever had performing music has just been me in a room with a guitar writing a new song.
yeah.
So I'm not performing, I think I would just, my frequency will be based on the season. Festival season in April. Right now it's Mardi Gras season. So I was supposed to play a lot more, but I don't think the music that I want to perform really caters to it. I'm also saying no to a lot of things.
Okay.
People have this expectation that since music is so saturated in this region, that I will accommodate to whatever they ask, and I that's not what I do. I have a mission and a story
Yep.
and a purpose with this. I'm not just a radio. Um, I would love to be, but it's like no one ever wants to listen. I will never play for 3 hours again. No one ever wants to hear music for 3 hours. I don't care who you are. If you're Joe from down the road or if you're Bruce Springsteen, it's like
3 hours is a long time. two
it's
hours when you have a concert, maybe.
yeah. When you have a concert, you have sets and you're talking and there's people involved and you've had hits. So you play the hits. So you play the new record. I get it. Entertainment is not my priority. My art is my priority. Sharing my art is my priority. Entertainment is just involved because when we're all having fun, that's just a circumstance which we all get into, especially in South Louisiana. So I'm gonna play. I think I'm only gonna play twice this month, and then in March I leave for a Canadian tour for a few days, and I do some in school talks where we talk about music and trying to be bilingual and the progression of Cajun music. And then in April, I'll do a lot of festival stuff, probably 4, 5, 6 dates. Far
Okay.
away from doing, damn near 20 a month before.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, you were doing the damn work.
Mhm.
Like you were saying earlier, you got lucky. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's how they say. Like, luck is that moment where opportunity meets preparation. And you had put in those hours.
Mhm. I did put in those hours.
Yeah. Okay. So I think. It's my favorite part of my conversations.
Tea.
And it's a little Malentía time. So this segment is really chill. It's not really, actually. Feel very I'm just kidding. No, we're gonna ease our way into it. This is where you feel free to rapid fire, open up, tell us a little bit about yourself, get funny, get fun. But starting with the most difficult question to ask anyone, I don't care if you're a musician or anything. What's your current favorite song?
Oh,
I love because everybody's always like, God, man, I don't know.
I'll say my buddy R.O. Shapiro. He is a Latin artist. Um, he is from. Wait, is he Latino? He might be
What?
Jewish.
How do you spell his name?
R, like the letter R dot O dot Shapiro.
Cool. Okay.
God, I could have got that so wrong. He might be Jewish. I know.
Okay.
Anyway, he has a song called "Worthy," and everyone should go listen to it because it's so much about self-worth, the insecurities that you feel, the past tribulations that you may feel you owe your own inflictions to. So, but it's about owning who you are, saying you made mistakes, and then moving forward. And it's one of the first songs that's made me cry in a while.
Really? I'm definitely gonna listen to it.
Yeah, he is an incredible singer, beautiful songwriter.
Okay, what's a Cajun favorite? What's a favorite Cajun song of the moment if you have it?
Oh, I don't want this to sound self-servant, but I just wrote a full French song that I
Hey.
really. It's called Moi le Loup, Me the Wolf, and and I cannot wait. I'm gonna be tracking it very soon.
Ooh, okay. I love the title already. Okay, one Louisiana stereotype that is actually true.
Uh, oh, that is actually all of them are true. All of them are true. We all speak very flat. Everyone, there's no ths in our language. Everything is this and that. Uh, um, we all love Boudin, and your best dress outfit probably involves a pair of white rubber boots.
True, true. If you weren't a singer, what would you be?
A teacher.
Oh, a music teacher?
No, no, I want to be like some grade school, elementary school teacher. I just love kids. I love being around kids, and I think my mission through art is to try to help people discover themselves. And there's certainly such influence, and young kids can be so impressionable. I relate to them so much, and I didn't really have someone that would stoop down to me and look at me in the eyes and say, "Hey, you're a human being," and help them discover. And I'd want to give children the opportunity to have that.
That's honestly so sweet.
I
That's
love
so
kids,
cool.
though, dude.
I
Yeah,
did not know that.
I have so many nieces and nephews that I love being Uncle Dusty. It's the best privilege of my entire life.
What did they say when you were on The Voice?
Oh my God, go watch the videos. They freaked out. They
Okay.
just absolutely lost their minds. And yeah, there's this really great video to the first reaction that I was with my mother's side of the family. And I can barely watch it because it makes me so emotional for them. They were just so proud. I'm like, whoa, it was like magic.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I can imagine. Well, most dramatic moment on The Voice that you can legally share.
I think I could legally share everything. Um, Dramatic moment. Well, just as a personal experience, the when four chairs turned, that was never supposed to happen. What people don't know is right before I got up onto stage, my guitar broke.
Oh,
The guitar that I'd practiced with continuously, it was like perfect size in a very specific tuning. And they're counting down from 45 seconds. And they said, they like ran in and said, his guitar's not working. We got to cut. And I'm literally like, I was shaking like crazy. And they said the guitar tech had checked everything. It all checks out. And he comes in very confused. And he says, what do you mean? It's all good. And there was this bizarre communication, my conspiracy theory mind. I'll go down that in a second. But he like listens to it from the other producer and he's like, oh, yeah, there is something wrong with this. Really weird. And even though everything had already been checked out, they go get me another guitar. I'm tuning it. And my vocal coach comes over to me and she says, oh my God, are you going to be able to sing? And I said, actually, yeah, I feel so grounded now because, playing live music, nothing ever goes right. So
yeah.
this moment was the moment that actually grounded me and said, okay, well, I'm here. Whatever happens is going to happen now. When I was walking out, I remember looking back. They were like, yeah, go get him. And I turned around and I said, if this messes up, I'm blaming everyone in here. I have such an excuse. And then I just got up onto stage and what happened happened. So that was crazy. And then I got my guitar back. Nothing was wrong with it at all.
What do you
Um,
think it was about?
my conspiracy theory mind is this has happened for a couple people. The producers need something to happen, um, that maybe it's a test of some sort. Maybe it's a position to make you uh, encourage more fragility. That way you're easier to, I don't know, they don't want you to do as good, potentially. There's all kind of angles, but certainly bizarre that it had worked a billion other times. It had worked and tested perfectly in that moment. And the communication, like I said, was very, hey, we have to say this right now. You got to give them a new guitar. Maybe they didn't like the guitar I played, but everything had gotten cleared before. And so yeah, it's a very, I only talk about the conspiracy angle because there were tens of other times where very peculiar things had taken place.
I mean, yeah. I
I mean,
think
it's Hollywood. So
it's TV, but that is incredible. Like, honestly, like, I can't believe you were not gonna share that earlier when I was talking about The Voice.
what do you mean?
Like, that's a pretty incredible story that
Oh,
you
yeah,
nearly thought your instrument was not gonna work.
yeah.
You're being told, "Can you do it?" And you're like, "I guess I have to."
Hmm.
And then you feel a calmness within you, going back to preparation met opportunity,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Look, man, I'm just gonna go out there." Like,
Hmm.
that's
I,
awesome. That's amazing.
I think there was this expectation too that they might have wanted me to hop out there last minute and not play with a guitar. And that just seemed insane to me. So I'm glad it all worked out. It really
Me
did.
too. Me too, and how it worked out. So then the 4 chairs, you
Mhm.
said that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, because I mean everything leading up to it. First
Was
of all,
supposed to be they would tank you or something?
yeah, maybe that happens. Maybe I botch my performance. Um, yeah, who knows? I really, but even the singers, I'm singing with the best singers on the planet. These are the singers that I heard on the show. Absolutely are capable of anything, and some of them got zero chair turns. Some of them, their episodes never aired, and so it's just a really bizarre thing to me. And that's not me being self-deprecating and thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. No, I think there's a place in an audience for me for sure, and I'm very grateful for that. But as compared to a lot of the other things, four for this guy that sang in French, that wasn't a crazy vocalist and played harmonica. I mean, I don't know. That's just
Oh,
was
yeah, the harmonica part. How can we
people
leave
really
that out?
people love that so much. Crazy.
It was so good. I don't know, I guess because we associate that with, like, someone that's just so present,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, I don't feel like you can be so mindless
Right.
playing a
Yes.
harmonica.
Yeah. Well, for me, no, I've never had a lesson. I've never learned anything, guitar or harmonica. Or it's always been about filling it out. It's just some days I make better noise than other days, and that day, that day, people like this.
That day was good.
Yeah.
Okay, boudin or cracklins?
Okay. Easy.
That's the right answer. Although I love cracklins, okay? Don't get
Hey,
me
don't
wrong.
mind them. Don't mind them.
So, live TV or live shows?
Oh, live shows. I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you fell in love with TV.
By the end of it, it was so much fun. It was really, really so much fun. My only regret is that I didn't do one more episode. And I thought, that's what I remember. I was like, there's never going to be another opportunity like this. There's not a chance that there's another singing show in my lifetime that I qualify for and get to do. It was perfect the way it was. And
Mm.
I had so much fun kind of being in there and watching the cameras and the lights and hearing yourself and knowing that it's all being filmed and consumed and going to be produced in its most optimum way. That was
Oh,
really interesting. It was really cool.
I can imagine. That's
Yes,
incredible. Okay, cruising on the road or off road?
on the road. I love the hum of the blacktop.
Cool. Beach, mountains, swamps, or dance halls?
Oh,
When I wrote this one, I was like, this is it. This is how he knocks out.
oh. Um, man, I love the mountains so much. I love going to the beach. The swamp, it offers so much. I have to say, in the three other places, in those three places, there's a lot of solitude involved. And I'm a very lonely man. I love being alone. I enjoy it. And as I witness all the beauty in all of those places, I reach the pinnacle of those moments and immediately are just is like smiling. I've been at the top of a mountain. I've been in the depths of the swamp. I've put my toes in the sand. And as I'm enjoying that moment, I'll look to my right or my left and realize, shit, I'm not doing this with anyone. So I have to say dance halls because that's where community resides and that's where you want to be. You want to be around people and thankful to be around people.
That's pretty cool. So so when I was writing this question, I couldn't think of the fourth location. And I was like, I would like to know because I know I've always known that you like the outdoors and I know that you like to travel.
Love it, yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna throw this one in a dance hall based on the music that you perform. And I don't know, the connection you have with the community. I was like, I'd be curious to know what he says. So I'm surprised, but I'm also not.
hmm Yeah, I mean, I've played some shows, where the floorboards are buckling, but everyone is like the same heartbeat, and that's just as good as being at the top of a mountain or seeing the most gorgeous coast or being in the swamp. But it's better because there's people with you. And
Yeah.
you can grab someone, look them in the eyes, and say, "Holy shit, this is crazy!"
That's so true. That is so true. Good answer. Okay, staying rooted or roaming free?
You can do both. I think I'm an indoor and outdoor plant. I carry my roots with me everywhere I go.
I love
Just
that.
put me in a pot and just take me around. I don't ever leave my roots. I have been thinking about moving recently, and it scares me. I get nervous that I imagine that I'll have to cut my, cut my stalk away. Um, I don't know. I don't think I ever could, but we'll have to see.
That's so real. I know how hard that is. I mean, having left Puerto Rico,
Right.
that was very tough for me. Very tough. But I did do it, and I discovered a new version of myself. So it's funny because my next question was build a legacy here or take Louisiana everywhere?
Take Louisiana everywhere. Yeah.
That could give you a little hint to the other thought. Okay, quiet life or wild story?
For a very long time, at the detriment of myself, have lived for this story. And some of them are really great stories. Some of them are really not great stories. But yeah, live for the story. And I love the quiet life. I know that it's going to happen eventually. It'll happen when I'm dead. So save it for then.
Hell yeah. Okay, another thing, and this is how I've closed out our Malentí time. I've discovered that it takes a lot of courage to say your dream out loud. I don't know. I had this experience and I was like, I wonder if everybody else has that same feeling. So, my last tea time question is name your dream.
Okay. Let's see. My dream is to successfully establish a career that promotes my heritage and my legacy while inspiring future generations to take responsibility for their lineage. And I want to be successful enough to make it possible to make my family comfortable.
I think you're on the way. I
I
think
hope
you're well on the way. You took a huge step forward, and I think there's a lot more to be seen of you.
Mhm. I hope so. I don't know what people. I got stopped for pictures last night, so maybe people aren't tired of it yet.
No, 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 no. I know they're not. I absolutely know they're not. You just keep doing the work and you just keep doing Dustin.
Yeah. Well,
We'll
if it
be here
all
to appreciate everything.
if it all falls short, I'm just gonna get in really good shape and start an OnlyFans.
Look, man, some people are doing good with that. So it is land of opportunity.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
Um, this has been incredible.
You're awesome.
Thank you so much for wanting to do this. I was very, very honored when you said yes.
Get out of here.
Is
I
it?
was honored to be asked. First of all, these are things that I love to do. Second of all, I love you. I think that you're one of the most fantastic humans I've ever met. And I'm so, and always have been inspired by you, by your music, by your voice, by your presence, and then also everything that you're trying to do. So it's a no brainer to support that. You're from my community and you represent people like I represent people. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, that means a lot. Um, so what's next for you? What do you have? What can we expect in
I'm
the
gonna
next
go on.
few
I'm gonna
months?
go on tour as much as possible. I'm gonna try to make as much money as possible to continue the dream in a financial situation that's comfortable. Um, and I'm just gonna keep releasing music. I don't know what it's gonna sound like yet. I think my journey is taking me in a Cajun representative form, but something that is accessible to people that already know music genres of, the blues variety and Americana variety. Um, and then hopefully I can come back to Louisiana and build a tiny home. That's it.
Hey, that seems like a very likely thing to happen.
Yeah, I have 5 years of the road left in me. Just real hardcore. Last year, I traveled 45,000 miles in a car, just a car. Like that's not counting all the times I flew places. So
Wow.
um, I will do that as much as the car will take me there. I had bought a brand new car the day that I got the call for the show. And I'm thinking, I will never recover from this financial debt. I also thought I was like, I said,
What a
I,
story.
I had to drive to Montreal in 5 days, and my van had broke down. And so I went to this dealership in Austin, Texas, and they sold me a brand new Toyota Prius. And I was looking at the price tag, just thinking, okay, I'm going to drive to Montreal. If the dream doesn't work out, then I'm going back to Louisiana. I'll get a job in the offshore industry. And I signed the paperwork, walked outside, and got the call. So it was like I'd given up. I really had given up. And it just happened again. So I don't know. I hope I don't have to get that close to the bottom again before I realize I don't need to give up. But you know how it goes.
Yes, actually, I can't believe I haven't asked you this. This is like a pinnacle question. So, I've already told you what Malentía means, like the meaning that I gave it and what this podcast is about. So, in those moments where you want to give up, those moments where you say, look, man, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. How do you harness your Malentía, which is your courage?
Uh, it's funny because my grandfather had a saying that everyone on my mother's side like laughs about. When things would get rough and when we were kids and we would say that we couldn't do something like, oh, I can't climb this. Oh, Papa, I can't lift this up. It's too heavy. He would always laugh and he would look at us in all of his Cajun wisdom and with this snide look in his eyes. And he'd say, can't died before you were born. And it's so basic and so simple and kind of a joke, but also I sing that in like at every show. I wrote a song specifically called Travailler, which is about working hard. And the breakdown to that song is can't die before you were born. So when I'm there, I think of that and I just kind of laugh. And it was always about something so little, but now it's about things that are changing the world for me.
I'm going to take that with me, just so you know.
Cool.
Can't died before you were born.
Yeah.
That is so good. That's a great Malentía.
That is. It's really.
Ah, that's so good. Thank you. Thank you again. That is it. I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud of you. Um, for all the people tuning in, please check out Dustin's album on all major platforms. Right, that's where you have it.
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
And all your music. The last thing you released after your album was a Christmas song.
Yeah, I did at
I
Christmas.
loved it. I forgot to tell you about that. I played it when you went to Prejean's to play. I played that over there.
Oh yeah, I love the way that came out. It was really beautiful. It's all straight to cassette. Like we
Oh,
tracked live, and I played a couple different instruments on it. So it's fun to do that and to hear something so raw and authentic, and just know that it's dudes. There's no chopping and screwing. It's just playing and hoping for the best.
that's
So
so great.
I hope you like it.
I mean, that's been something that's been working out for you. That's your
Mhm.
style, and that's what we want.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
keep doing it so that we can remember that that's possible.
I definitely will.
Okay, well, thank you again. You have a great rest of your day. I will tell you when this comes out, and I cannot wait to see what's next.
Already. Merci pour tout. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to my third episode of Mucha Malentía. I am currently in Puerto Rico on a Viejo San Juan tour. I performed my first show last weekend, and this weekend I have 2 shows at the Cannon Club. I hope that you gathered as much insight as I did. I'm definitely applying a lot of what Dustin was talking about, about taking chances. And remember, can't died before you were born. You're born, so go get him. Do whatever it takes. I know that I'm definitely living it right here. And I hope I get to see you on the next one. Please follow Mucha Malentía on Instagram, YouTube. Definitely follow it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and follow me, La Malentina, on my journey of applying Mucha Malentía into my career.